I have something cool to show you. A 3D artist named Jeremy Bolz created a model of the Shipwright. It was already quite cool, but he asked if I had any feedback on it, so I gave him some notes. He nailed the adjustments, and just look at it. Now I have this incredible model of the Shipwright. It's humbling and encouraging to have people want to participate in what you're working on, and I can't tell you how excited I am to put this to use. Thank you, Jeremy. The home sequence continues. The Shipwright gets dressed and calls out to see if his wife is in earshot. I was once again relieved that I had done some early development work on his house. This may be subject to improvement or change later on as the story dictates, but for now this is enough to go on. I went into more detail about this house in a previous video. I say house, it's a little bit more like a castle. It's been in his family for many generations. The main structure is made from very, very heavy stone, finished with wood beams and tree trunk pillars. The pillars are meant to reflect an appreciation for the beauty of creation. Standing watch by the exit are two very old sheepdog sculptures. They've been eroded by the loving attention of generations of small children. As he continues his lonely walk through his quiet house, he passes through the family hall. Lining both sides of the carpet are statues of his predecessors, previous shepherd kings. I didn't line them up one-to-one with their names. This was more a case of implying story. One known for his prowess as a warrior, another remembered for his innovations in shepherding. Each one has some marker of their greatest accomplishment. One subject I'd eventually like to touch on is that the Shipwright is breaking with tradition. He's inherited a good kingdom, and he's led it well, but his new mission has him on a different path than anyone that came before him. You barely see them in the final image, but I made some quick tapestries to hang in the background. The design I settled on is a 7-pointed geometrical pattern. The 7 axes represent the 7 days of creation. Again, like I said, you barely see them, but wherever possible, I like to at least give some thought to these things. To get the lighting figured out, I wanted it to feel lonely and a little ominous with these statues looming over him. Now, this week I only got one illustration done for my mini-series. In this case, the Shipwright is ascending a stepwell. With an image like this, I wanted to hint at the grandeur of some of the architecture in this world by showing what it can look like even in some of the more neglected areas. Stepwells are wells. This would be an area where servants and slaves move about on their daily business. And yet even here there's a sense of grandeur. Because I knew this image would live or die on its perspective, I built a quick 3D model to use as my underdrawing. From there I could add all the wonderful imperfections that make places like this feel alive, from worn and cracked stones to ornament, and finally to the oppressive faces carved into each set of stairs. While the gods likely never come down to these levels, the sculptures act as a constant reminder of their presence. In this case, a repeated image of a watcher with a third eye spewing forth secret knowledge. From a technique side of things, I typically won't paint in shadows, both for the sake of speed and simplicity, but also to subtly tie back to the Sunday comic adventure stories this project is based on. But every now and then, if the narrative calls for it, I'm willing to do it. In this instance, this shot absolutely depends on this narrow beam of sunlight slipping through into the Undercity. This color palette really is my favorite place to play around. Blue and orange really is like shooting fish in a barrel, aesthetically. And hopefully my love of Mobius is apparent. Thanks for watching.